Hello, it's me again, Tiffany Reardon, Program Manager for Affordable Learning Georgia. This is the last instructional video of the training. In this video, we're going to go over some basic instructional design considerations for developing renewable assignments. These are some tips you might share with your faculty when discussing the next step in open education. Tip 1. Start with assignment objectives. I know, as educators, we've had goals and objectives hammered into our heads by everyone around us. But there's another tip later that connects to this, so just hear me out. Assignment objectives will not only help you stay grounded in the course content as you develop, but they'll also help students make connections between the assignment, the course content, and what it has to do with the work world. For the sake of time, I won't go too far into detail on measurable objectives. But the important thing to remember when writing objectives is to ask yourself, can I physically observe the achievement of that? If you can't, it's not measurable, but it can be made measurable. Take the word understand, for example. We can't physically observe a person's understanding of something, right? Well, no, the act of understanding happens in a person's brain. So how might we measure that? We might ask them to explain the thing, define it, describe it. So instead of your objective being that they understand something, jump straight to explain it. One cool thing about renewable assignments is that they're versatile and can be created for any learning stage. If you're familiar with Bloom's taxonomy, you'll recognize his pyramid of learning stages here. Of course, the stages closer to the bottom are things students do at lower levels of education, and then the stages at the top use a higher level. After this video, you'll have the opportunity to look at a few examples of renewable assignments. As you're reviewing them, think about where each of them falls on Bloom's taxonomy. Remember how I mentioned we could connect another tip to the first one? Well, here we are. Once you have objectives for your assignment, you can use those objectives to make sure that you're aligning the assignment to the content of the course. It's important to make sure that students aren't being asked to do things they haven't yet been taught to do. So make sure that you're considering alignment throughout development. Use technology strategically. This one's really important. Well, they all are, but strategic use of technology is important in any technology-enhanced course. Don't use technology just because it's cool or seems fun. Some questions you might ask yourself are, do I need this technology to accomplish the purpose of the assignment? Does this technology have everything I need for it? Does it cost students money? If so, is the cost worth the benefit of using the technology? Is the technology complicated to use? And if so, how much time will I spend teaching students to use it? And is that time worth it? Is there adequate tech support available for it? I know this all sounds like I'm trying to talk you out of something, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. You just want to make sure that when you ask students to use technology, you're being strategic in doing so and thinking about all elements of its use. Develop with accessibility in mind. Hey, we're back to that accessibility stuff again. Remember the accessibility of your assignment. Will all students, regardless of ability, be able to complete this assignment? If not, is there a way to make it more accessible? Sometimes it's hard to come up with accessible solutions to assignments. If you're having trouble making the assignment accessible, it doesn't mean you can't use it. You just might want to create a backup assignment that is accessible and have it in your pocket in case you do have a student who can't complete the original. However, you don't want to single that student out. If one student can't complete it, it's a good idea to use your backup assignment for the whole class. Think about copyright early and often. Not only do you want to think about the copyright of the work you're using in the class and the works you publish yourself, but you also want to consider the copyright options for student-generated work. Often, instructors will give students a choice on their assignment submissions. They can publish with a Creative Commons license, or they can choose to keep their work private. The important thing is to make sure that students understand that their choice doesn't affect their grade. You don't want to force students to share their work with the world if they aren't comfortable with it. However you handle copyright with your students, creating renewable assignments is a really good opportunity to expose students to the concept of open materials and Creative Commons licenses. Consider giving students a lesson on those concepts before the renewable assignment begins so that they can make an informed decision about sharing their work. And finally, tip 6. Provide examples, rubrics, and feedback. As with any other assignment in which students may not have done something like it before, it's important to provide students with examples of what you're looking for and grading rubrics with the assignment instructions. Especially since your students may not have ever done a renewable assignment or a creative assignment such as what you're asking them to do. They need those guides. Similarly, it's important to give them thorough feedback so that students can take what they learned and apply it to the world and future assignments. I know I've stuffed a whole bunch of information into one video, but don't worry, these tips can be accessed in written form via the link at the bottom of this lesson page. I encourage you to check out the narrative presentation, Create Meaningful Engagement in Your Courses with Open Pedagogy and Instructional Design.